World-famous bedtime stories from Mom. Today's story is The Beauty and the Beast. Long ago in a distant land there lived a merchant who made a lot of money. This merchant was so wealthy that many people envied him. The merchant had 6 children, 3 sons and 3 daughters. Among them, the daughters were especially beautiful, indescribably so. In particular, the third daughter, Belle, stood out for her beauty. She had shining blonde hair, clear eyes, and her beauty was not just outward but also inward. Belle was kind-hearted. She was always kind to the villagers and animals. Her warm heart made her loved by everyone. The villagers were happy to see Belle, and she always tried to repay their love. Then one day, a great typhoon came and swept away all of his wealth. The merchant's family was in great shock. All they had left was a small house in the countryside. A year had passed since they started living in the countryside. The family was gradually getting used to the new environment. Their life was simple, but they were spending happy times loving each other. Then one day a letter arrived at the merchant's house. The letter announced that a ship full of the merchant's goods was finally returning. Upon hearing this news, the merchant became excited. Filled with joy and hope, the merchant quickly started preparing for the trip. He wanted to return to the city and buy a lot of goods after a long time. Among the merchant's 3 daughters, the greedy elder sisters immediately started making demands. Father, if you go to the city, please buy us expensive clothes and necklaces." Their eyes were already filled with flashy jewels and beautiful dresses. But the youngest daughter, Belle, was different. Belle did not ask her father for anything. She had no particular desires other than her family becoming happy again. The merchant asked Belle, "Belle, do you really want nothing?" Belle answered with a warm smile, "Father, I just need a single rose." Her words came from the heart. The merchant left on his journey with his children's farewell. Arriving at the port, the merchant started his trade with great expectations. However, fate put him through another trial. Losing everything and left penniless, the merchant fell into deep despair. On his way home, the merchant lost his way in the forest. As darkness fell, the forest became a more terrifying place. Then he saw a twinkling light far away. Following the light of hope, the merchant advanced and a gigantic castle appeared before him as if from another world, mysterious and fantastic. The merchant cautiously entered the castle. It was quiet and no one was to be seen, but the inside of the castle felt warm and welcoming. In the living room, a fireplace was burning brightly. The flames warmed the merchant and melted his heart a bit. On the table was a delicious-looking chicken dish. Feeling hungry, the merchant did not hesitate to taste the dish. The delicious food offered him happiness after a long time, and he smiled spontaneously. After eating, the merchant explored the castle. Then he found a very comfortable-looking bed. Exhausted, the merchant lay down on the bed and soon fell into a deep sleep. The next morning, the merchant walked around the castle garden. The garden was beautiful, and flowers of all kinds were in bloom. Among them, the roses were particularly striking. The merchant thought of Belle. What she had wanted was just a single rose. The merchant made up his mind and picked the most beautiful rose. At that moment, a terrifying beast suddenly appeared, growling. How dare you repay my kindness by stealing my precious flower? This is unacceptable." The voice of the beast was scary and filled with anger. Trembling with fear, the merchant pleaded, "I am truly sorry. The rose was so beautiful that I wanted to give it to my beloved daughter." The beast pondered the merchant's words for a moment and then offered a condition. "Your daughter? If she agrees to come here in your place, I will forgive you. But if she refuses, you must return yourself." When the merchant returned home, the house was bustling and filled with joy. The children rushed out, happy about their father's return. But instead of joy, the merchant's face was filled with sorrow. He shed tears without speaking. His tears brought worry to his children. In front of Belle, the merchant presented the rose. "Belle, this flower is truly precious to me." Belle showed tears as she received the rose. After a while, the merchant told his family everything that had happened in the forest. The encounter with the beast and the terrifying promise. Belle decided after hearing her father's story. "Father, don't worry. I will go in your place." The merchant was shocked to hear Belle's words. "Belle, don't say that. I am already old. How much longer do I have to live? I will go." But Belle would not listen to her father. "Father, you cannot leave me behind. I would rather be eaten by the beast than live without you." Belle, with courage, headed to the beast's castle with her father. Her heart was heavy, but at the same time it was filled with love for her family. Arriving at the castle, Belle and the merchant entered the living room. Just like the last visit, the table was set with food. The food seemed to welcome them. Belle, not wanting her father to worry, acted as if nothing was wrong. She enjoyed the food and tried to give courage to her father. After the meal, the castle was filled with the sound of heavy footsteps. Then the beast appeared. The merchant trembled with fear at the beast's appearance, but Belle maintained her composure. The beast looked at Belle and said, "You are willing to sacrifice your life to save your father. What a kind girl." Belle was a bit surprised by these words. The voice of the beast, instead of anger, carried a certain softness. The beast continued, "Leave your daughter here in the castle, and old man, return home early tomorrow morning." The merchant sighed with relief at these words, but at the same time, he was saddened by the thought of leaving his daughter behind. Belle smiled to reassure her father. The next evening, Belle was seized with fear that she might be eaten by the beast. However, she decided to spend her last moments exploring the beautiful and vast castle. "Before I die, let's explore every corner of this grand and beautiful castle." Belle made up her mind and began exploring the various rooms and halls of the castle. She marveled at the castle's lavish decorations and numerous artworks. Each room seemed to have its own story, and Belle was enchanted by it all. During her exploration, Belle found a door marked Belle's Room. "Oh, Belle's room? Shall we take a look inside?" Filled with curiosity, Belle quickly opened the door. The room was even more beautiful than she had imagined. The walls were covered with warm-colored wallpaper and fragrant flowers were placed throughout the room. The view from the window of the castle's garden was as beautiful as a painting. In the center was a large and seemingly soft bed. Next to the bed was a small desk and chair, and on one side of the wall was a large bookshelf, capturing the heart of Belle, who loved books. Belle was moved to know that this room was prepared for her. It was like a safe and comfortable refuge for her. The room was decorated more beautifully than Belle had imagined. The large bookshelf was filled with various books. Seeing them, Belle thought, maybe the beast doesn't intend to eat me. This thought brought a glimmer of hope to Belle's heart. As she browsed the bookshelf, she noticed a book with the golden letters, "Speak What You Wish," written on the cover. Filled with curiosity and anticipation, Belle spoke, "I wish to see my father." As soon as Belle finished speaking, the large mirror in the room began to sparkle. Magically, the mirror showed Belle's home and her father looking sad as he arrived home. Seeing this scene, Belle was surprised and at the same time sighed with relief that her father had safely arrived home. But the image in the mirror disappeared as if it was never there. That evening, as Belle was eating dinner alone at the table, the beast appeared. Belle was initially startled but gradually felt at ease with the beast's friendly demeanor. The beast visited Belle every evening, spending time with her and sharing various stories. Through these meetings, Belle realized that the beast was much more charming and kind than she had initially thought. Through conversations with the beast, Belle discovered that the beast was not as frightening as his appearance suggested. She began to understand the beast's warm heart and deep inner self. However, before Belle went to bed, the beast always asked the same question, "Belle, will you marry me?" Belle found it difficult to answer this question. "No, I'm sorry, Mr. Beast." Belle's feelings were complicated. Despite the beast's kindness, the fact that his appearance was scary and ugly did not change. One day the beast opened up to Belle. Belle, I love you very much. Even if you don't marry me, please promise not to leave my side." Belle was moved by the beast's sincere words. I promise. I like you too, beast. But I really miss my father. I saw him through the mirror and he seems to have fallen ill because of me. Besides, all my sisters are married off and even my brothers have gone to the army, leaving only the maid with him. The beast felt a great sadness upon hearing Belle's words. I might die of sadness without you, but if you wish so much I will let you go. While Belle understood the beast's sorrow, she couldn't stop worrying about her family. I can't let you die, beast. I will return in a week. Hearing this, the beast handed Belle a ring, saying, "Tomorrow you will wake up in your own home. If you wish to return, place this ring on the table before you sleep." This ring was the magical key that would allow Belle to return to the beast's castle. The next day, when Belle woke up, she realized she was in the home she had dreamed of. Her sisters, along with their husbands, came rushing in upon hearing of her return. Seeing Belle dressed like a princess, her sisters were filled with jealousy. The sisters decided to prevent Belle from returning to the beast. Belle, stay a little longer. We've missed you so much. Belle's heart weakened by her family's plea and she decided to stay a week longer. However, on the 10th night, Belle had a terrible dream. The beast was suffering and dying in the garden. Waking up from the dream, Belle cried, "What does it matter if he's ugly? The beast has a kind heart. Why didn't I marry him?" At that moment, Belle realized her true feelings. She acknowledged her love for the beast and the beauty of his inner self. Belle firmly decided to return to the beast. She got up, took off the magic ring given by the beast, placed it on the table and fell back asleep. When Belle woke up, she found herself back in the beast's castle. With a fluttering heart, she waited, hoping the beast would come to meet her in the evening. However, the beast did not show up even late into the night. Worried, Belle ran around the castle and its surroundings, desperately looking for the beast. Her heart became more and more anxious and filled with sorrow. Then, as in her dream, when she arrived in the garden, she found the beast lying there. The beast looked as if he was on the brink of death, his body weakly looking at Belle. Belle ran to the beast's side, crying out, "My dear beast, please don't die. Marry me." At that moment, Belle's heartfelt declaration of love echoed like magic. Her words transcended a mere promise or request, expressing deep love. It was at that moment. Bright light wrapped around the beast's body, and a miraculous transformation took place. Within the light, the beast turned into a handsome prince. "In truth, I was a prince from a neighboring country. I was cursed to live as a beast until I met someone who loved me for who I am, not for my appearance. You were the only one who saw my heart. Thank you, Belle. Will you now marry me?" Hearing the prince's confession, Belle was deeply moved. Her pure heart and love had broken the curse and revealed the true form of love to the world. Belle joyfully accepted the prince's proposal. Thanks to Belle, the spell was broken and the prince and Belle started their happy life together. Their wedding was grand and the story of their love spread far and wide. Thank you for listening to the end. Click on the playlist for more stories. Your subscription, likes, and notifications greatly support me.